This is Getting Past Subtitles. My name is Sean Peel.
And I'm DK Lee.
And welcome to week 3 of our love series, romance, all that good stuff. We've been pretty on point so far, right? I think I ended off last week with that. And now it's all on me.
Yeah.
To see how you stick up to the theme.
Yes.
And so last week we watched A Moment to Remember. What was her name again? Yejin, right?
Sujin?
Yeah. Oh, Yejin was the character's name.
No, Yejin was the actor's name. Sujin was the character's name.
Oh, but I meant to say Yejin then.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't try to you try to like swap me there.
No. You should have remembered.
I know. I did remember.
No, you weren't sure. That's why you asked me.
You tried to trick me up in the I tried to come for you for confirmation, and you tripped me up. Hurt.
Well, that's your fault. You should have known.
We are off the Yejin train now.
Yeah.
We're on to other Korean stars. One that I know, the other one that I don't really know two of. I've seen her in one other thing, but other than that, I don't think I've seen her in too much stuff. But this week we watched A Man and a Woman. This came out in 2016, directed by Yoon-Ki.
Yeah.
Right? And yeah, this is my pick. This is my second time watching it. It had been quite some time since I'd watched this the first time. I probably watched it like in 2017, not long after it came out. Yeah, overall, I don't think my opinion, I don't really remember like exactly what I thought of the movie. I thought it was like good. I didn't think it was anything amazing. I don't think much of my opinion has actually changed much from when I did see it.
So you picked a mediocre movie to watch.
But it's good enough. But literally all of my answers have been the same from the series. It's been like,
it's okay.
It was mid.
It's all right.
it was mid. It was good. I mean, look, if the movie's enjoyable, then like that's fine in my book, right? Like that's all that really matters at the end of the day. And A Man and a Woman is no exception to that rule. But yeah, it's also funny that like I think I started off the series by saying like hyping up the romance series, or like how much I liked it, but then I just lead on to be like, yeah, that was good.
Okay.
That was all right.
Maybe your standards of romance like movies are high.
Maybe it's like they're like really excellent or just like whatever. Yeah. But I mean, like the good news is, at least it's like all these movies you can't really go wrong with either. Like they're not like bad.
But I think another reason why might be because romance movies tend to be a lot more like specific to what you like. You know what I mean?
Sure, like a more preference-y.
Yeah, like there's a lot more specificity towards what you like and what you don't like because it's romance and it's a lot highly like, you distinguish things more.
We have more fantasy.
You become more you become more picky about it and like you like what you like and if you don't like it, it's kind of whatever.
It's like meh.
And I think there's a thing about relatability too. Where like if there's something that you can relate to more, I think you might like it more.
Right.
Whereas if it's something that you can't relate to, there'll probably be less. You probably like it less. I know. Sure. So it's just a theory.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I guess like they also kind of stem from being like really like fantasy-ish or like that would never happen to being more grounded to like this kind of follows a little more making sense, Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I feel like you could like the other or each other more than whatever. You know what I mean? What did you think? You never seen it before, right?
Yeah, my first time watching it.
Okay. So how was
That's
it?
That
was my impression.
That's my impression.
I watched it. And it finished.
Yeah, my first time watching it, I mean, I couldn't really relate to it, to be honest. Especially because, it's like a love between these two married people who are loving other people, and it's not necessarily because of, you know, their status in that way. I just kind of didn't understand the spark from the
sure.
from you know everything that was going on, and the story itself kind of felt weird, like the trajectory of it and where it was going kind of felt weird. And maybe I need to marinate on it a little bit more. But my first impression, you know, you're asking my first impression. Like, for me, it's just like I don't really. I don't know. I think for me, it kind of missed the mark in terms of like where it wanted to go or like what it really wanted to do. Especially like certain scenes kind of like really kind of felt like, okay, well, this is kind of weird. Whereas like, I don't know, the other ones that we watched in this series kind of felt like it had a more clear like linearity to it, where and a trajectory towards where it was trying to go. Whereas this one, certain scenes just kind of felt like it just, it kind of didn't amount to much for me. So
sure.
Yeah. But overall, I like the actors. I think they did a good job. I liked the overall like aesthetic of the movie and like what it was showing and stuff like that.
Right.
But yeah. But I think the big part was like, you know, the chemistry between the two characters.
Right.
And I just like some moments just kind of fell flat for me. So.
All right. That's honest.
Yeah.
I guess I can kind of see where like why you sort of think that, and in a way I kind of share it. I think I have a different sort of impression now that I've seen it twice. I think this is my only second time watching it, and it's been a while. But like having kind of, there's a lot of things that I forgot, but a few things that I remembered. But just having like seen it again, I kind of appreciated some things, I guess you could say. But I kind of understand what you're saying at the same time. It is different, like even plot wise compared to the other two. Yeah. Where, like you said, the other two movies do feel like they have a very specific like.
Yeah, it's just like there's like a weird, like, frustration that I have with how they, like, used the supporting characters and stuff like that. It just felt very, very sparse. Like, it's funny because like the other two movies were like, oh, it felt pretty long.
Yeah.
This one, I felt like it could have added some more stuff. You know, like
it's already almost 2 hours long.
It's only 2 hours though. It's like compared to the other movies that we watched, I'm saying like it just felt like there are things that we could have had a better understanding of in terms of like their families and stuff that were just completely just like not there. Yeah. And I'm just wondering, like, isn't that a big part of like the story, right? In terms of like the conflict and the stuff that are happening, and it just kind of felt like
it wasn't.
It's only there if they needed to be there, but it's never there really.
Yeah, like fully fleshed out or anything like that. I can see what you kind of mean. I had like I have a counterpoint later for that too, but yeah. So there's only really mainly there's only two characters in the movie. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So like Ki-hong, who's played by Gong Yoo, and then Sang-min, who's played by Jeon Do-young. Gong Yoo's super famous, right? Train to Busan, we've seen. There was a. I feel like we should start a new segment that's like Letterboxd reviews, because some people have some hilarious like little reviews that they put in Letterboxd. One of them was like, the woman in this movie takes a train to Busan with the man from Train to Busan.
Basically,
right?
That happens.
Yeah, it's kind of silly.
It was a little bit anticlimactic, but it does happen.
Some things questionable though. Like Ki-hong does like the weirdest
things,
like initiative things, like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's just a lot of stuff that like just doesn't really like connect.
Like, like is it being sincere, or is it just like stalker qualities ish, you know? Right?
Yeah.
Like
No, even like the first time they meet in Korea, he just comes out of nowhere and he's like,
exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Like those kinds of things are like, for me, it's just like, huh? Like, how did he even find it?
Yeah, that was questionable.
Yeah. It's not like she gave her like her like address or her number or whatever. It's just
they left off like
he literally searched the ends of Korea and found her.
We just happened to be in Seoul together. Yeah. I just happen to know the store that you're in.
And he acts like he just there by coincidence.
Yeah. Like clearly he's like,
off.
I know you work here.
Yeah.
I was just passing through. Question mark. But yeah, a lot of like those movie magic coincidences kind of happen in that way. But go ahead. It is your week. I'm dumping it on you. This is your first time seeing it. Good luck. It's not that complicated.
Yeah, I mean it's just about a man and a woman.
Done.
There you go. Moving the fastest synopsis ever.
Moving on.
Yeah, so it's about a guy named what's his name again exactly?
Ki-hong.
Yeah, Ki-hong and Sang-min is the girl or the woman.
Yep.
And I forget the country that they
were in Finland.
Finland? Yeah, it is Finland, right? Oh yeah, so like the movie starts out in Finland and Sang-min is a woman. She has a son. I think it's Jong.
I don't know the kids' names, honestly.
Yeah, anyways.
She has a son, yeah.
Yeah, she has a son and he has like a special needs like thing.
Yeah.
And so that's why she's in Finland at a camp where they kind of take care of these kids, trying to get him to, feel a little bit better. And at the camp or at the place, they're going on a trip to some camp. It's kind of redundant, but they're going to some area, some kind of camp for like a few days, I think. And the parents kind of drop them off and they kind of go alone. But Sang-min's kind of protective of him. Mm-hmm. And she wants to go with him to the place, but the teacher is like, no, you can't. And while that's happening, she happens to meet some dude named Ki-hong, and he also has a child. He has a daughter who also has certain issues. She, I think, has depression or something like that.
Yeah. And
she's also part of the camp, and she goes to that camp as well. And they're like Koreans in Finland, so they're like, "Oh, you're Korean? I'm Korean.
I'm Korean.
What's up?" And because Sang-min wants to go to the camp, Kyung offers to drive to where the camp is to see the children.
Yeah.
And while they go there, they basically get really close to there. And like right at the outskirts of the camp, and before they go, like actually to meet them face to face, she's like, nah, let's just go back. And so they decide to go back, but there's like a big snowstorm, so they're kind of stuck in this remote area, not exactly disclosed where it is, but it's kind of near the camp.
Yeah, like same town.
Like around that area. Yeah. And while they're there, they kind of have a fling. They kind of like they're like, hey, we're lonely, we're depressed, we got issues. I think we can work.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so
pretty much.
Yeah, and so
I think it can work.
That's what happens in Finland, and then I think like 8 months or something like that passes. I forget exactly how many months like it was, but a few months pass, and Sang-min's back in Korea. She works as some kind of like designer or like a consultant or like a designing firm or something like that. Like
I guess she's
fashion, she runs some kind of boutique for somebody.
Her sister.
Yeah, her sister.
Yeah. She's like almost like a boutique project manager.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. That's good description. And basically, she's working there, and out of the blue, Kyung basically like finds her in that place, and they kind of link up again, and they kind of re-spark their affair, right?
Yeah.
And basically, the whole story goes on and it's all about these little moments that happen between Kyung and Sangmin. And near the end, basically, Kyung has a wife, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And she is kind of sick as well, and so she's kind of like taken down with her mother, and while that's happening, Kyung still is hanging out with Sangmin, but later on, Kyung kind of has like guilt and doubt and stuff like that, and he is like on a ledge, right? And he's not about to fall, but like it was implied that he might fall because before his wife did the same thing, and his daughter kind of like stops him from falling.
Yeah.
Supposedly falling. And from that incident, I think Kyung kind of feels like he wants to try to make his relationship with his family right again. And so he kind of leaves Sangmin hanging. Because Sangmin, on the other hand, kind of told her husband off. It was like, I can't live without Kyung, so I'm gonna leave. And basically that's what she did, but he on the reverse side kind of decided to try to make amends because they were supposed to meet at a hotel, but Sangmin was at the hotel, but Kyung never actually went into the hotel.
Exactly.
And like a year passes, and Kyung's back in Finland, or probably Finland. I'm not exactly sure where it is. They don't really specify, but she's eating at a restaurant, and Sangmin basically stalks him now, and she kind of like checks what's happening with Kyung, but he's like eating with his family happily, and then she leaves because she sees that, and Kyung kind of sees the back of her, and he runs out, almost about to chase her, but he kind of looks back at his child, and he's like, nah, chill. And basically that's how it ends. Kyung basically drives away with his family, and Sangmin is left all alone in the sadness in the cold winter.
Wow. Now she's got a friend.
The taxi driver.
She
gives her the cigarette. He's like, yo, you want one?
They shared a cigarette, and then they were like,
we're besties now.
Yeah. Like, life is tough, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much how the movie ended. Just like that. Yep. Yeah, overall, it gets muddy in, I guess, a little bit, like you said, with like mainly their backstories, I guess, and just how, like, conflict wise, like where, like, obviously they're having an affair, so there's kind of inherent conflict in that, but bringing, I guess, that part out, it's not like the primary thing, I guess. You could say. The movie really focuses on Sangmin and Ki-hong a lot.
Or even like why she feels like she wants to have an affair or whatever,
or like the motivation for the romance.
Like what is it within her own relationship with her husband that she just can't stand, right? Because it never really goes into that.
It never explicitly says it.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I can understand.
I can understand them not going into it.
Right.
But I just felt like for this movie, it just kind of felt like it should have. I don't know.
You think it fell flat in like doing the other part of it?
Right.
Like, well, if you're not gonna say it, then kind of show it better.
Or like make like something make the relationship between the two main characters so interesting that it's like I see why you like this guy so much.
They're definitely like the flattest characters.
I
mean, really both of them quite a bit.
Which I mean, it's like a subtle thing, right? It's not supposed to be like
super flamboyant.
Yeah, exactly. But
I can kind of see what you mean. I like appreciated a little that like a lot of the movie was, or like motivational wise, it was more like
muted,
and then you kind of had to infer some things.
Right. It's kind of implied rather than like explicitly told.
Right. Like, I don't know if I had the biggest issues with the whole like family backstory stuff as to like why they didn't like their lives back home. Essentially, I think it did a pretty okay job. I think Ki Hong's part was great, was good.
Yeah.
I think Sang-min was the one that was more lacking.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like we only seen the husband like twice or three times in total in the movie.
Yeah.
And like, I think it was more going towards that, like, you know, she's struggling, like her husband, like they don't have the happiest marriage, or like they're not like lovey-dovey, right? And that combined with that they have a son that has like that's probably autistic, and like that's a lot of pressure, like just raising him, things like that. But like, I don't know, like having like struggling to be a mother of like an autistic child, like that, it more focuses on that versus like the relationship with her husband. And I don't know if like that is the reason for the spark
right?
to have an affair, right? Like it should be focusing on the other part, that like the dad isn't there to, you know, like pick up that role, right? So I think that's definitely more of a drop ball versus I think it does fine though with Ki Hong, with like his wife and like her, things like that.
Yeah.
But
definitely does flesh it out more on Ki Hong's side.
Yeah.
And I think it makes his character feel more sympathetic.
Yeah.
I can kind of like relate to it a little more.
And it makes sense at the end of the day, like why he is the way he is, right? Because he's very samey throughout the movie, right? Like he's very consistent with being, like he puts up a face, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Like a very kind of like strong face. When, you know, he's like, there's a lot of baggage behind him and things like that. And then as like things unfold, we kind of understand like why he reacts that way, and like why he kind of has the persona that he has. So everything just kind of feels like full circle, and it makes sense for Ki Hong. I think it is just like Sang-min is probably is the like the weight, basically, or just like not the most fleshed out.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that like she kind of changes. She's like the most depressing character in the beginning of the movie, right? When they're in Finland, like she looks bad, and then after the 8 months back in Korea, like she looks so much better all of a sudden. Her persona is a little the same, but like something about her feels different. But yeah, it is. There's a big change there that I kind of get surprised by every time. And it makes apparent in the movie. He's like, "Wow, you look kind of good now.
Now
you look decent. You still want to get together though?"
Yeah.
But yeah, I think yeah, it is like you said, the spark issue. It's like, what exactly is it that they're drawn together?
Also, it's like, for me, like I feel like romanticizing, like, because like, you know, they're basically having an affair, right?
Yeah.
And for me, it's like I kind of feel bad for the husband because I mean, obviously this movie is trying to romanticize this affair.
Yeah.
But I'm like, on the other hand, I'm like I haven't seen anything really that this husband has done that warrants like him being the bad dude. I don't feel like
okay.
Yeah, I mean, like if I felt like I didn't like him, then I would feel like this affair felt more justified, right?
Yeah.
But because it, like I barely even know who he is, right? and like, granted, like there doesn't have to be a reason particularly for you to like somebody, right? Like obviously, if you like somebody, you like somebody. You can't really do anything about that. But it's like, in terms of a story, I'm just like, the dude didn't even feel like he didn't do anything wrong. He seems like a good dude. He likes his, you know, I mean, he's not like the most like warm and inviting person, but you know, he takes care of the child. Like, you know, the man has good intentions. He comes to pick up, you know, his wife after the big fashion show thingy. I don't know. Near the end, right?
Yeah.
You know, like he doesn't seem like the worst dude ever, right? And like that's the thing that I'm like like I kind of wanted to know more about him. And then like near the end when she like just like storms off on him, he doesn't even really get mad. He's just like, "Yo, come sit here. Let us talk." And he just dips.
He's like just as shocked as you are a little bit. You're like, "What did he do?" He's like, "What did I do?"
Yeah, and all of that just kind of it just kind of added up for me. I feel like.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, like you said, he's not the most warmest person, and like you can kind of get a semblance of like why Sungmin is, doesn't feel like there's any more spark in the marriage or whatever. Like he's a pretty like poignant guy. Right?
But to be fair, like even Gong Yu's character wasn't the most like he was pretty like she always says like you can't even decide. You're always like so wishy-washy about things. Like he's kind of like even less so, in terms of that.
Yeah, I mean, well, like Ki-hong is like made to be like the good guy in this movie.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's funny that like you said that, I mean, these characters are having an affair with each other, which is inherently or like morally wrong. But it's like the twist is that
he goes back to his family and she doesn't.
That's the other twist. That's the other twist. But like the fact that like the movie is like romanticizing the idea of this affair. Like it's wrong, but like the lens that we're supposed to be watching it is like, this is great.
Exactly.
Like all is well, or like I wrote this down that like the portrayal of this affair in this movie is that like you want it to happen. Like you want these two characters to be together, right? And that, once you kind of find out their home life and why they're even having
that's the dissonance that for me though. Like it's
right.
Like,
that's the dissonance for you.
I just don't understand why. Like I just
sure.
like they're shooting it in that way, right? Like for us to sympathize with them and kind of like want us to like understand their romance and their love and why they're doing these things. But I feel like you don't give us enough for me to sympathize with them in that way.
Right.
And it might be just like coming from my logical brain where it's just like, because like there is a thing where sometimes you just want to find comfort in somebody, right?
Yeah.
And that could be reason enough to just have the affair and be together because of the stress and the hardships that you have in your own life. And like kind of coming together and finding comfort in each other. Like that could be reason enough.
That's what happens.
It is. But like for me, in my like logical brain, I'm like, bruh, just suck it up. and be good to your son and then your daughter or whatever.
But they are good to their kids. They're so good to their kids.
Are they really though?
Come on.
By the end of the movie, she's living alone. She's like on the phone. Hey, what's up, my child?
Yeah, I mean, she backfires on everything by the end. But she's a decent mom.
She is. She's nice.
She's good
to her, to him.
It's like, if anything, it's Ki-hong who's like a little pretty absent from his daughter
until the end. He finally learns his lesson. She kind of is the opposite.
Yeah. Somehow he took his daughter to Finland for 2 years, but is all of a sudden like absent when he's back in Seoul.
Yeah. Like that's another weird thing. Like it's just, how does he find the time, dude? Like he's always in front of his store, her store.
Yeah. It's like a lot of the perspective is on Sungmin, right? Like we're following like her part of the day and how she's kind of bobbing and weaving like work and her husband
and
whatever.
The child.
Yeah, to see him. But this guy just like comes and goes when he wants.
Anytime, I'm here. What's up? What's up again?
And
then, called, let's go.
Yeah. Like we see him like when he is doing his own thing, but it's like,
is he really doing his own thing though? He's just like at the place for a little bit.
Just waiting outside of her office. Oh man. Yeah. I don't know.
Exactly. Like it's funny because maybe I feel like I'm like nitpicking these things.
Yeah, right.
Right. But
like I think like personally I feel like, again, like Ki-hong side story feels more justified. Like I really don't have too much of a problem with that. I do feel like there is more lacking with Sungmin. It's just funny that like I say that, But then what we're talking about just now is that like most
she
of
does
this,
have a lot of time.
right? Like
time.
more of the screen time is Sungmin,
Yeah.
right? But like I feel more lacking of her.
That's the thing. Like it feels like I've spent a lot of time with her, but I've not been given a lot of information about stuff
Right.
that I could have had.
Right.
In one sense.
Mm. Yeah. Is it like the whole movie started with like the reason why they were together was like I'm lonely, I'm depressed, be with me.
Yeah.
And then like that's it.
Mm.
And then after that, it's like
Maybe it's because I like more clear cut things,
sure.
and this
You'd rather
movie
be
doesn't
like-
really give you that too much.
Yeah, no.
Well, maybe that's why.
That thing is clear. I mean, like I liked the fact that, like I said before, that nothing was like kind of told explicitly, and even the backstory stuff, like nothing about like the husband or Ki Hong's wife, or like even his daughter. Really, like none of that is dug up till maybe like the midpoint of the movie.
Yeah.
Right. Like it
And even then, you're not really given too much. You're just kind of
exactly.
like you just infer from what you see.
You're just like you find like I like the fact that you kind of find out along with when the characters find out,
Yeah.
right? Like Sang-min finds about his wife. Like we found out about his wife when she finds out about his wife, right? When she has the accident and then he goes to his mother-in-law's house, right? And then she visits his workplace all of a sudden. Like that's when we find out with her. And then like similar
But
situation.
didn't we see his wife before then though?
I don't think so.
In that like party thing?
I thought that was
It would be before. It would be that the party's before.
well, the party's before, yeah.
Yeah. So we do know that he has a wife and stuff.
Oh yeah, I guess.
Because the party is where like
Yeah.
and even before the party.
Oh yeah, the first time I was like, because he was home. Well, she comes home from work with
Yeah,
like the
yeah,
wine and
yeah,
stuff.
the wine and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So we know that he has a wife.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. But even then, it's like a minute of whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I still get what you're trying to say. Like the impact is
Yeah.
still there, and
Uh-huh.
like you're kind of with Sang-min a lot. So, but
Yeah. But yeah, like I said, like it's like a slow crawl for everything,
Yeah.
right? It just kind of uproots along the way versus like being exposition essentially.
it's funny. The party scene is weird because she is very the wife is very like overprotective of the husband, kind of like she's very
Yeah.
well, I don't know what you call
That's
it.
my man.
Yeah, like like very. She has like a victim mentality, and every person, everyone kind of is like
Against-
out to get her or
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
And like he has like that other girl friend who's like
I guess that's his boss.
is
So,
it
the other like that was
the
in the
other
kitchen
lady?
with
Yeah,
him?
yeah.
I
in
think
the
that's his
kitchen.
boss because
Is it?
he's like an architect,
Yeah,
I guess, sort
something
of
like that.
something like that. And he's like putting together this.
See, we don't even know what his job
Yeah, we
is.
don't. What exactly?
We just know he works at some site, a construction site,
Yeah,
to
some kind of
work on some
construction job.
gallery.
Yeah, he's building like this new gallery, and I'm assuming that the gallery belongs to that woman,
Yeah,
and that's like his.
but I think she is his friend though, like
Yeah,
her
they have, like,
old friend or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Like they knew each other for a long time, and that's the reason why, like at the party, she like the wife gets jealous or whatever, and
Okay.
assumes that like they have a thing together, and
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
she
yeah.
kind of calls her out, and she's like, "What are you talking about? It's just friends, right?" But it's weird because it's like I feel like you could have kind of. There's no relation with the wife and Sang-min lady. Like there's nothing there,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
well, even with the husband too, like with Kyung,
Kyung,
right?
right.
Like there's never a moment that any of that come.
They cross paths.
Yeah, like there's no entanglement there, which like it doesn't have to be there. It's just like a opportunity for conflict that was never explored.
Right. It was more of like the whole point was more of like
Them two.
that. Well, like them individually, like suffering, I guess, right? Like their own problems
Yeah.
in their own lives, right? Yeah. And then them just like finding ease
Like
with each other.
did the wife ever even find out? Probably not, right?
No, there's no way. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no way. Like if anything, Sungmin's son could have been like, I saw.
I
Mom.
see dead people. I see affairs.
I see affairs. Well, it's too late. Well, he finds out anyway. It all comes out anyway, actually.
Well, for Sang-min,
Sang-min,
at
yeah,
least,
yeah. But Ki-hong's living in a dream.
he got it all, right?
Yeah, he covered his tracks. He was on it.
He had the affair, and he's able to cover his tracks and live a happy life.
Yep.
What happened to Sang-min, man? She loses it all.
Gone.
That's messed up, man.
Totally done. Her life is in ruin. I like that twist though. I kind of liked that twist. Mm-hmm. Like there was like the whole arc of like they basically swap roles by the end of the movie, right? Yeah. Because like it's Ki-hong who is like instigating their affair in the beginning, right? Like he's very clearly
kind of messed up of him though, if you think about it.
Yeah. And then by the end he's like,
nah, chill.
I'm out. Sorry. Gotta go.
I was kidding.
JK.
It was fun while it lasted.
Dang.
Don't come find me in Finland.
Damn. It's all right. He fell upset that after she was like, all bets are off. And he was like, no. Yeah. You know what? Fine. All right. I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, at the beach, he's like, yeah, we should leave together. Psych.
Just when you think all things were good. Nah. My wife kind of loves me again, so yeah, I'm out.
Well, she never not loved him. Right. That's the thing.
She just had her own problems.
She just had issues.
Yeah. And she was like, you know what? Maybe I'll work out my issues. What do you say, pal? Let's all go to Finland together.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can at least kind of see what the issue is for Kyung's family in terms of like the wife and the husband, and like, and you know, she like, has issues. Right?
Even that was like actually said, right? Because like you can infer that she's got obviously problems. Like you said, like at the party, right? There's clear some like character issues with her, but then after she like ODs on pills and then she goes to the hospital, we meet the mother-in-law. Like in that scene, like
she kind of tells everything.
Like yeah, it's like verbatim, like given like what her deal is, and then you're like, okay, she's got some personality, mental issues, whatever.
Yeah, but that's never explored with Sang-min's and husband.
No, yeah, nothing like that was equal to her. Yeah.
She just doesn't like her husband. I guess
she's like, my husband is whack.
Yeah,
and it's hard taking care of my son.
I just need something else.
I want to confide in this other man who wants me. But yeah, like it's funny that like watching this again, some of the actions that like Ki-hong does is like, dude, are you going too far? ? Like the whole taking the train to Busan with her thing.
He had to do it though. It's his movie.
I gotta get on this train.
It's his breakthrough, Netflix movie.
I gotta get on this train. This is my train. This is my train. Like, yeah, visiting her every night, like sleeping outside of her office to take her to the train.
I mean, if I was the wife, I would have issues too, man. I mean, at that point, is it really victim mentality when your husband really doesn't like show up every night?
Yeah. Well, like in that scene, she was not like that was.
No. I'm just saying.
Like before that, like
I'm just saying in general though. It's just like
this man is cheating on this guy.
He seems like he's doing a lot of different things outside without me understanding what's going on in our relationship. So
I have a right to be how I am. Nah, but. Yeah, some of the things are like finding her out of nowhere after 8 months. Like, Ki-hong is bold. Ki-hong is kind of bold. Playa gong you. I see how it is.
And the assistant or whatever, she always is like, hey, you need a ride?
Oh yeah, the bit. And then he like slips under the radar, like just barely every time.
Yeah.
He's like, you want to? Yeah, that scene specifically where she was about to get in the car with the assistant, and then
she sees that he's like sleeping.
She doesn't question like
who is car? That guy? What car is that? Why are you talking to this random dude for so long?
I don't like what's going on there.
I guess it's not my business.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like I signed an NDA before I got hired.
Is this included in the NDA?
I'm not gonna get paid more to keep this secret, so I'm just gonna pretend there isn't a secret to keep. But yeah, it's yeah, her story is I guess like whatever. She's totally cool with it too, though. That's the funniest thing.
Yeah.
Simon is like, yeah, that's kind of sweet, I guess. But any particular favorite scenes?
I like the scene in the rain when they lose the sun.
Oh, the shoe.
Yeah, and then the shoe moment.
Mm-hmm.
She throws the shoe. Yeah, I found it in the sea or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a nice scene, I think.
Then they just randomly go to the beach.
Yeah.
And it's like, it goes from like autumn to July in a cut.
In the summertime, all of a sudden, all sunny.
Yeah. It's not even like cloudy or like remotely looks like the same day. It's like, no, this is a different season completely. And then the husband is like, why'd you go to the beach?
Yeah.
I guess it's fine.
Who did you go to the beach?
Yeah. What gets me is like, they meet, she drops off her kid and the son like runs off into the building, like presumably, right?
Yeah.
And then she gets the call from him after she's like, we're done. And then they meet up at a location that they both had to drive to. And then when...
One car.
Yeah. And then when
they
the son goes
missing... one car.
What?
Yeah. You just left the car there.
You just leave your car there? Like it's nothing?
I guess he picked it up back when he was coming from the beach.
I guess. She's going to assume so. Is it not quicker to look for a child with, like, split ways than go together?
Nah, you can't do that. You gotta be with your girl in the car.
I guess.
Disgusting.
I'm turning on your logic brain here.
Hey, I'm turning on your non-logic brain.
The movie magic brain.
Yes.
I thought the Finland scenes were fine.
Yeah.
I actually forgot this movie was like set in a completely different location.
Really?
So when it started, I was like, "Oh yeah, they're in a foreign."
I feel like romance movies always do that. They have like a nice set piece, like area, like location where they're like, "This is where the love happens," and then they come back to reality.
Yeah. Here's the drama.
Yeah.
And then we go back to fantasy later.
Mm-hmm.
Now Finland's a cool spot. I thought that was a really nice location actually. I'd have to agree to you, like the whole aesthetic of the movie was pretty nice. Like it's very like overall, like I said, it supports like the romanticized theme of it all. It's like, yep, you want these two people to fall in love. Look how pretty everything looks. And, yeah, everything is very like sharp and colorful, and very like cinematic. Very much like that. Yeah, I like the scenes of Finland. I liked in the dinner scene when she's like randomly carrying soybean paste in her purse.
Oh, the
that looks like toothpaste.
Yeah.
He just like
in the dinner
squirts the toothpaste into his food bowl. We're like, yeah. The side characters were like, overall, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if I pieced this together last time, but like the fact that Sang-min's like sister is also technically her boss, like she's the CEO of the boutique company.
Yeah. And
basically her sister's like I said, kind of the boutique project manager, or really just like VP maybe, like she feels very much like the doer for her sister. Yeah. As far as like logistics and like
she's the one who runs everything. And
yeah.
Her sister kind of just chills.
Yeah. Her sister's like, I want this done.
With the white dude.
Yeah. Her boyfriend or whatever. I don't know if I pieced that together the first time around, but this time I was like, oh, they're related. But that's nothing that's like it really explicitly said either. Like that's
it's not really even important to the story.
Not really. Yeah. Which it's not really. It's just like part of the setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her random boyfriend, she's screwing off with her boyfriend in some other country, and her sister's like, I'm trying to do your job, yo. Come on.
See, why can't she have a relationship like that, huh?
Who, Sang-min? Well, that's what she asked her.
Yeah.
She's like, more like she's like, I want to be happy.
Well, she was like, I don't think I can be like you, like be married like you. And she's like, oh, aren't you in a happy marriage? She's like,
do you not see the bags under my eyes? Do you not read into my depressing aura all around me? But yeah. What do you think? How would you rate this movie all around?
From what we watched so far?
Or just in general?
Mid.
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 I already know where this is. This is like bottom tier from the other two. You think?
For you?
For you.
For me?
Yeah.
No, I think I'd put it above classic.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't even remember what you said about the classic. Like how much
I did not like it, but it's just
like too tropey.
Yeah. For me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This like A Man and a Woman is like talking in the series in general. It's still pretty like I think in line with being like romantic. Like it is very much like in the melodrama.
I think it is
subgenre, right? Like
it there's a genre of romance which is like forbidden love kind of thing.
Sure.
And I think this falls in line with that. And like all the romantic affairs and all of that stuff is really like we could pick that as a genre in itself and right. Find like all these movies that have that. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a good representative of those kinds of movies.
Yeah.
In general.
Like I like that the way that it was shown was like it kind of took something inherently bad, but like it really showed it and like you want it to happen or like romanticized.
It just for me like I just never felt sympathetic to the main characters and why they did it. That's all.
Sure.
Because I've seen other movies that do this, right? Like this like forbidden love, romantic affair kind of movies, and in other movies, not all of them obviously, but like you can kind of have a good idea of why they do things, but like it's all obviously like dependent on the story, right?
Sure.
And some stories they make it so that like you hate the person like they're involved with, which is why like you're okay with them having an affair. You know what I mean? Like it's like the husband is so bad, abusive or whatever that
you want them to get
you
away.
Want them to get away from that and find somebody better, right?
Yeah.
Like, there are ways to do that. I don't think this is what obviously that's not the intention of this movie. I think this movie has a much more subtle message to tell and a more subtle like story about them and their own internal struggles and how they find comfort in a stranger or in this other person where it's like a completely different universe, like they're in their own bubble apart from their real life.
Yeah.
And I think that's that's an okay story to tell. That's a fine story to tell. I just didn't feel like it was very.
It did it strongly.
Yeah. At least for me, like I just didn't feel like there was enough there for me to be compelled into liking it too much. But I mean, it is what it is.
I can't change it.
It's just my opinion. It's nothing like necessarily bad about the movie or like a criticism of like the story was bad. I don't think the story was bad necessarily. It's just like how I feel about it.
Right. Fair.
What about you?
My rating?
Yeah,
like I said earlier, I think it's still like it's like solid, but it's nothing amazing about it.
Mid. Yeah, everything's mid.
They're good enough, okay?
Why didn't you pick a movie that was like here?
I don't know. I thought of like I was like trying to think of like
what is a romance movie that you were like, oh, this is
like an Asian one? I don't know. Like
maybe you haven't watched that many, or have you?
Maybe not, or maybe I haven't really come to one that's like
there yet.
Yeah, that's peak mountain, apex mountain. Yeah, I don't know. My mind goes blank. Do you?
I don't really have one either. I there is one that I like, that I enjoyed a lot. But I don't really have anything that's like
it's like that's the one.
Yeah,
like,
but I don't even have that for like non-Asian movies necessarily.
So you don't have like an apex like like
I would
Asian
have to
movie
think
in
about
general.
it. Oh wait, for Asian movies or just movies in general?
Well, I was saying in Asian movies. I mean, like a romance movie in general that I relive. I mean, like, what's the favorite? How am I blanking on my favorite movie?
It's your movie, bro.
I know.
Don't look at me.
But you know it.
Love Actually or About Time?
About Time.
Okay,
I was thinking One Day, but that's not the right
One Day.
I don't know why. Which was a solid movie too, but it's another one.
About Time. Yeah.
About Time. That's
About Time is a romance movie, but it's also like a family movie.
But those are sub to the romance. Like
that's true.
Like the plot is literally like I use my time traveling powers to get a girlfriend.
Yeah.
That is actually the movie.
Yeah. I enjoyed About Time as well. Probably because of all the sub stuff as well that it's included in it.
And it's just like it works so well.
Yeah, everything kind of comes together. You know?
But like Asian movie wise, I'm not real. I'm
sure there is one. I just can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'd have to like look.
But there is one that I really enjoyed. It is really famous as well. It's one of the, it was very popular when it first came out. It's called Intro to Architecture, or Architecture 101.
No idea.
Yeah, it's a Korean movie, but that was a good movie. It's like a first love story.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, maybe what was that movie? The movie with the guy that has a new like that changes persons every day.
Oh, Beauty Inside.
The Beauty Inside. I was like Beauty something.
You like that one?
I mean, just like comes to mind right now. I think that one is definitely like at least top 3. Yeah, that one's
for like an Asian one.
Yeah. That's one I can watch. I always go back to that movie because
really?
it's so good. Yeah, definitely on the contenders for sure.
Yeah,
but yeah, I mean, there's a few. There's a lot out there. This one is like, this one kind of rates in the middle.
It might just be like I just don't like these kinds of movies as much as like other romance movies.
Right. So do we need to get you like?
I'm not a big affairs guy.
Are you saying you don't have any personal experience in this?
No, it's just I just feel bad for the guy who's being affaired on. Like the husband or like the wife, you know?
But they're not.
Or the child.
Nobody here is being like the two main characters not being affaired on. They're the affairees.
That's what I'm saying. Like I feel bad for the other people.
Oh wow.
Like that's
I don't know if I feel too bad for like Ki-hong's wife. I mean, I actually don't think I feel bad for either of them.
I feel bad for the child at least.
The children for sure. Yes.
Right? It's like, dude.
But their spouses, I don't know.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, I mean,
yeah.
I don't feel bad for them in the sense that like, oh man, it's more of a like simply a moral thing in one sense. Like it's just like they made a promise, right? And they're breaking the promise. That's more of the sympathy that I have for them. Whereas like, you know what I mean? Like
you're going back on your commitment. What are you guys doing?
It's more of that rather than like a strict like whatever.
Yeah.
Anyways. Whereas like if like he was like if we knew he was an asshole, I'd be like,
if we knew they were bad guys, then
yeah,
it would.
But I think that's part of the point of the movie, though, right? It's like not people aren't always like
it's not like perfect,
right? They're not always like, oh, this person's so bad, that's why I don't want to be with them, right?
Right.
That's what I kind of said before too. It's like you don't necessarily always have a reason for why you want to do things, but like sometimes
or it doesn't always have to be like the most external reason,
right? It's not always like it's not always visible to the eye.
Right,
as to why like things are not working and I don't feel comfortable around this person or whatever.
Right. But yeah, I mean, it's decent. The only thing that I kind of remember, I remember really liking the soundtrack for this movie.
I don't really remember the soundtrack, to be honest.
This time around, I was like, I didn't have the same like in love feeling with it. I mean, it's good. Like it.
You didn't like the Spanish music in the moment to remember.
I did like it, that works well for what it does. That's great. That's great and all. That's fine. But like the like the score. There's like an
I
actual
don't remember
score
it
for this
for
movie.
this one actually.
There's like a theme, like a core theme, and then it's one of those things that it like, there's versions of the theme as the movie goes on for the scenes. I really like the theme and like all the versions. I actually like had it downloaded at one point, like when I first watched it. This time around, I didn't have the same attachment to it. Like it's good, but I wasn't like, wow, this is no Ryusuke, Yamaguchi.
I actually think that Korean dramas do a better job with romance, but that's also longer.
Yeah.
It's like they all have a lot more time to build,
Right.
so it's kind of unfair to like
judge it that way.
judge it one to one.
Right.
But I do think that Korean dramas do a better job overall.
I felt like the theme was very K-drama this time.
This one?
Yeah. It felt very like in that vein a little bit. Yeah. This could easily be a drama though.
It could be.
You could take this for sure. This is like a most plain kind of, this is.
It'd be a long drag though. They would have to add a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Well, they have the room to. As we discussed.
True.
Like you could.
True.
the groundwork to build this stuff is there, All you have to do is just go into their like family lives. Then you have a series right there. Like the romance is there. You just got to kind of prolong it.
Yeah.
And all the extra stuff would be like,
it's more like suspense, right? You have to build to the climax.
Right. Some kind of shit will have to go down.
Yeah.
And then they end up back in Finland. But yeah. Sorry about this one up. It's pretty decent. Next week is our last. And this will be new territory for the both of us for the first time in this series. And we are watching Love Letter by Shinji Iwai in 1998 or 1999. One of those 2 years. Yeah, I've wanted to see this. I'm a Shinji Iwai fan. I haven't seen too many of his movies. I haven't seen this one. But like his filmography has always been on my list. Particularly this one I've wanted to see for a while. So I'm pretty looking forward to seeing it. I have no idea what it's about, so don't look at me for help.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Something about love and
maybe in a letter.
In letters.
Yeah.
Right. It's the 90s, so like handwritten letters. We're not exchanging love emails.
We've had a lot of movies with letters, huh? Three of them.
All three?
3 of them so far. Well,
in general?
3 of them, including the one we're going to do.
What were the other 2?
Classic had letters in it.
Oh, yeah.
And The Moment to Remember had letters in it.
Sure. All right, that's fine. It's a romantic, like, that's a romantic thing to do.
Right, letters?
Letters. Just like messages on paper.
It is a romantic thing, right?
Right.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
Because writing itself it could be a creative endeavor which brings out emotions and things like that.
You're really running away with this one.
No.
You're doing a good job. But yeah, that'll be next week. So we'll see you guys for Love Letter. A quick shout out to our Patreon. Come and check out what we have at Past Subtitles. If you want to get some episodes early, we'll have advanced episodes there, as well as some bonus stuff once a month. Lately, we have Drive My Car, and we'll have some other stuff coming soon. I've been debating and thinking about, Outlaws 2 just came out.
Maybe.
Maybe. It is like.
Did we watch Outlaws in
We did for the series.
Right?
Yeah. We did.
We did the series.
So it'll be a follow-up. So if you watch the first Outlaws and listen to our episode, and then maybe you can catch up for the sequel.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with what's his name?
Ma Dong-seok.
Ma Dong-seok.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye.